Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I bet you thought you were going to escape this week without another handy video dropping into your inbox. Well, not this time, my friends. Here I come, riding to the rescue on my violet steed. I don't know why it's violet, but that's the colour it was left at the stables. To rescue your Sunday afternoon with a little bit of Sopcom action. Sit back, relax, and enjoy some ladder. Because let's face it, it's been a while. We've had a lot of team gameage, and I've been waiting for somebody to come and bring me some handily one turned up. So here we go. It's going to take place on Cobalt Valley. I'm ready. You guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. And there we have it. All right, let's take a look at our players up here at the top in the blue corner. It's none other than Suzujl. I've been calling this guy Suzujl for as long as I remember, mainly because I don't even know why, but I just assumed, as a rhyme out there by assumption being the brother of something really bad or the mother or something, I assumed that was a capital I, but it's not. Thanks to Downlord's new client and some alternate fonts on the user interface, I discovered that's actually an L. So it's Suzujl, which actually is significantly more fun to say, don't you think? So we're going to be enjoying that as the game goes on. Suzujl, here he is. He's going Seraphim, and he's opened first land. Let's take a look at his opponent down here at the bottom in the red corner, also going Seraphim. So it is a Seraphim mirror matchup. No snappy dressing authoritarians or evil space socialists in the game today. It's gonna be Robogear. Here he is, and he is opening first land as well. So Seraphim mirror matchup, exciting stuff. Both of them getting straight off to the start with a couple of Selens. They look like they're going to cross over and pass each other in the middle of the map there. Let's just go to split screen so you guys can examine their frigid openings and see if you can improve on your own starts. I see this map come around very often, but certainly an interesting one. Incidentally, those two Selens did just stroll past one another, take a couple of pot shots, presume both down to around half health. Looks like Robogears came out just a little bit better off in that exchange. Suzujl with the first land factory going mechs, and then going then land next to the hydro. First engineer off the bat going straight for the hydro after that Selen, of course. And then going for a land factory next to that. The Selen from Robogear almost gets reclaimed as it takes a couple of pot shots on that engineer due south of Suzujl's com. What happened to the Selen for Suzujl? I think that got taken out. Is that it there? That was probably it right about there, assuming that one piece of wreckage, that burned offering, is the one thing that hasn't popped up. And that Selen didn't last long, gets popped by another one just coming out there to the south west of Suzujl's base. So there we have it. So then he goes land factory next to the hydro, a quick P-gen and another one, 2 P-gens, and then presumably, oh no, so he's going land, and then air after that. He looks like he's getting one more P-gen next to the two of them there. So slightly different format here for Robogear. We can see he went land, air, and is just stomping all on towards the center with his comm there, getting one of the central mexes, picking that up nice and quickly. So very different openings, it has to be said. He got all of the core mass off the boot, I think, with his comm, and then just busted a move up towards the center. Very different openings from our two players, perhaps characteristic of how they're going to approach the game going forward. Seems like a much more highly prioritized mass spam land opening there for Suzujl. Robogear potentially going to favor air a little bit more. We'll see how that goes. A little bit of a hill there, but that's definitely, I'm sure, passable terrain. We'll soon see. Yes, it is, as that engineer toddles his way up onto the higher sections. Not going to live too long. Those, a couple of fams turn up to just ruin his day. There it goes. Tried to get a reclaim off, didn't work. Will Robogear score at least one tank kill before his THAM goes pop? No, it won't. That THAM there for Suzujl surviving around 36 HP. Back to the center, Robogear has a land factory online. Where's his comm off to now? Looks like he's heading over to the west, where this little cheeky attack coming down that western approach there from Suzujl seems to be making some ground. A little bit of action happening over in the east as well. Suzujl just probing the defenses here. Robogear planning some PDs, trying to lock down some places. There was a PD over here, but that was queued up for Suzujl's now, sorry, Robogear's now long dead engineer that got popped over there on that left-hand side. Slightly larger pressure over in the east from Suzujl. Robogear just managing to stay out of range, picks up an extra kill. Down goes the engineer though, doesn't manage to get that point defense online. Suzujl will be happy about that. Gun upgrade on the way for Robogear's comm. It's actually in very close proximity to Suzujl, but Suzujl's only got his comm there. He's got no spam backup to help him engage and force a cancel were he to realize that comm is so closely anchored to the spot. Straight to T2 air, would you look at that? So that early T2 factory upgrading early for Robogear and going straight to the production of gunships. Now that's a serious investment. We're 6 minutes in and he needs to make that pay, and he probably can manage it. Playing it defensively for the time being. Was one interceptor lurking around trying to finish off that Vulthu. Defending interceptor from Robogear polishes that off. Very important, obviously. He keeps those gunships, those assets alive. Try and inflict maximum damage. Well, he's got a bit of a tech mismatch going on. Should get in there now and start assassinating resource options. Suzujl's just rolled right forward with his comm and is battering down those central mass points belonging to Robogear. That gun upgrade, not yet 50% complete for Robogear. Suzujl's comm, of course, unupgrading for the time being, so when that does complete, that's going to be another advantage for Robogear. T1 bomber causing some problems in the middle of Robogear's base, meanwhile. Very nice work from... Oh, I just missed out on that engineer. A little bit wide of the mark. Definitely wants to get a bit of a chain reaction. Not enough volatility on those T1 P-gens. Doesn't manage to bag any more than that. A lot of damaged P-gens, but only one dead one, and the odd engineer killed off in that exchange. Vulthu's still going strong over here in the northwest. You can see a few mexes under threat. One being picked off. 80% complete now as Suzujl turns up to engage. Now, where's the backup? We've got the odd unit rolling in now. If we can force a cancel here, it'd be huge, but it's unlikely. He's up to 90%, and that's moving now. Presumably he's cancelled everything else to get that complete ASAP, and there it goes. And that's a massive increase in damage, that rate of fire, and the range. That's a significantly more powerful commander now. A couple of interceptors turning up from Suzujl trying to beat down that landed Vulthu, but there's significantly more inties in the sky there for Robogear. So Robogear now with a more powerful commander and some tech advantage in the air. Now, where is... There they are. That's where the air factories are located for Suzujl, both operating at T1 for the time being. So he's not going to be countering on that side of things. There seems to be generally more spam, though, on the map pouring out of Suzujl's base. Let's go to income, and would you look at that? Is Robogear power locked? No, he's not. So we've got almost double the income right now for Suzujl. He's been upgrading or ecoing. That's that little bit harder. He's got maybe about 65% of the map or so, something like that. Seems to be making it pay, at least in the short term. Badly damaged Vulthu over here, now taking fire from these newly produced ISILs. Definitely the way to go. Support the ground forces with surface-to-air weaponry if you can't reclaim the skies. Try and nullify that advantage the gunships are getting. Robogear advancing with that comm now. 9 kills so far versus Suzujl's 8. And Suzujl definitely doesn't want to get tangled up in an engagement with that comm by his lonesome. Oh, Interceptor's out of position slightly there. Might lose a gunship here, maybe not. Just enough hit points on the clock to keep them alive till the cavalry shows up. There they are. One pass. Might lose one, actually. That down to 210 hit points there on that gunship. Interceptor still engaging, but doesn't make it. And Vulthu shows up to increase that little squadron's firepower. Another mech's down over in the west, but Suzujl still more than 2-1 ahead. Robogear actually going backwards there in generated eco for a second, down to 15, but he's back up to 17 now. These decisions that will be made in the next few minutes may well determine the direction of the game, who decides to push eco harder. All core mexes for Robogear at T1, save this one, which is about to tick to T2 now. There it goes. That's the first core mex over to T2 for Robogear. Immediately bumps him up to 27. Massive increase on where he was. It's amazing actually what he's been able to put out without that. And now Suzujl, in an attempt to respond to that firepower on the ground from Robogear's comms, going to get his own speed and range upgrade. On the gun, Robogear bearing down on this little tank platoon over here just west of center. Not going directly to it though. Wondering what kind of intel he's got. Not a lot. No radar covering this section of the map. That might have been power related issues. There they are, just strolling into radar range. A couple of gunships dispatched to deal with those. They've got one ISIL in that pack, but that won't last too long. That'll be locked onto, you would imagine. Fighter screen brought in to assist. Suzujl with a few extra interceptors now though. That's a good engage for Robogear. Surely means he's going to win that little fight, but look at this assault down the western approaches. There is T1 point defense operational now, and there goes the essential wall sections. Be affording that some cover, and there's one Zui in the mix there, lobbing that ranged artillery over towards the point defense. It can't stay long enough to take it out. And that gun upgrade completes for Suzujl, so he moves southwesterly towards Robogear's comm to enter the fray. Hopefully push his opponent back somewhat. Robogear has taken a giant leap forward in eco since we've been talking. 37-31 now in favor of Robogear. Massive improvement on where he was a couple of minutes ago. That's going to help him sustain this T2 production. Seems to be working pretty heavily on gunships now. Personally, if I were him, I'd probably be thinking about switching it up to T2 land. It's only so much we're going to get done now with this gunship advantage. I think it would be about to ebb away soon. More surface-to-air weaponry. Quite a lot of redundant mexes, or mass points rather, just got rebuilt over there for Suzujl over in the west, but see the effect the roaming gunships have had on the front line of Suzujl's resourcing operation. Nonetheless, he's back in the lead now, 39 to 33. Slightly behind on power production, 780 to 500. But total mass accrued, there's a 6k advantage in favor of Suzujl, and I'm not certain he's done anything with it. Map control more or less 50-50 at this point. Tech advantage with Robogear. See the kill-loss ratio. Robogear at almost 2 to 1. 2 to 0.5, sorry. That is good going, and that is why Robogear is ahead despite the deficit in mass that he's been able to funnel into his coffers. It's a nasty little ball of gunships there. A lot of damage, and that really does help mute the effectiveness of these roving bands of T1 spam. Suzujl on 9 kills, still looking for his first star in veterancy. Robogear on 42 now with 2 stars on the comm. See the difference there, 10 hit points a second regen on Suzujl's comm. Robogear's at 22. So more health, more regen, generally in a stronger place, and this gunship horde is just tearing into Suzujl now. Seems to be on the back foot. 39 mass apiece. Little extra energy for Robogear. On the last time we looked, 860 to 500. Keeps funneling in the odd interceptor here and there to try and eat into this pack of gunships that seem to be making their way slowly north. About to snag another T1 mechs over here and take them down in no time at all. See many more ISLs showing up now. Cheeky little Vulthu up at the back as well, wailing away on a mechs. Poor little mechs operator didn't stand a chance. Very lonely occupation. Well, sitting in your tower, pressing one button to hammer over and over again. That's why they never think to evacuate. Very low IQ. There he goes. Another mech's down. Encroachment in the center from Suzujl. Pretty sizable force of T1. That's now being munched by a combination of Robogear's comm and that ball of gunships. Every time it looks like Suzujl's going to make some ground, it just gets smashed from the sky or from the comm. Suzujl advancing down the western approach with his ACU now. That PD's since been destroyed. Suzujl desperately trying to wrestle interceptor dominance. Can't quite seem to manage it. Subsequently, Robogear perfectly happy to go toe-to-toe with the Isils and the Ioshivas that turn up periodically with his gunships, although that last engagement looks like it would hurt a lot. It would be a bad idea to get an air staging facility or up something to rep these planes, or these gunships rather, because they have seen better days. Indeed, he's evacing them out way over the edge of the glacier there. And that has had an interesting effect, actually. Those gunships down and out, and look at the pressure now being brought to bear across the map from Suzujl, who's engaging on all three fronts down the center, the west, and the east, all at the same time. Robogear's got the center covered with his comm. He'll lose a mechs. He should be able to stall that attack, though. Meanwhile, Suzujl's pressing with his comm over in the west with a pretty sizable band of T1 to boot. That's a stone's throw away from getting into the back of Robogear's base. He's now upgraded to T2 land. Finally, we've got Ilshabas rolling off the conveyor belt, trying to plug that gap over in the west. He's also got a few THAMs over here, but not a lot to scare the comm at this time. Over in the east, the Vulthus have been brought back out once more with another interceptor escort. Seems like a relatively even match over here on the ground, maybe slightly in favor of Suzujl, especially with that point defense going down, which is about to that Zui up there. And it really is the emergence of the T2 flaks, the Ioshivas, that have turned this around for Suzujl, who has phenomenal map dominance now. If you look at the coverage, ever decreasing serviceable space for Robogear at the southern portion of the map. Robogear's got his comm out front, valiantly defending, but suddenly this air-heavy approach, as so often the case, looks like it seems to be faltering. Often great if you get it early on, can be difficult to sustain. Later tech air-to-ground weaponry, as advanced as it is, as damaging as it is, really cuts down your movement and thus dissolves your advantage. But can he do something now that he's got access to T2 ground tech as well? Ilshavas moving out to reinforce on all sides. Robogear, remember, on his comms, a 3-star comm now with 74 kills. Suzujl, just a single star for him, so it's 16 hit points a second versus 28 hit points a second on regen. Thousand extra HP on the tank to boot, so an advantage there. Holding those Ilshavas in reserve for the time being, perhaps waiting or hoping that Suzujl will overextend and then he can bring those in, maybe with a couple of freshly produced Vulthus down here. Let's have a quick look at interceptor numbers, see where we're at on that side of things, really assess Robogear's gunship feasibility. 14 interceptors there for Suzujl. Robogear on escort is 16, so it's pretty even. Trouble is, Suzujl can prioritize the gunships first, and then that more or less nullifies them. He'll lose the outgoing battle between the interceptors, but the balance of power remains the same. Pressure coming down from Suzujl over here as THAMs roll in through that little canyon pass there, and then realize, oh, there's T2 there. Run away! Brave Sir Robin ran away and got Vulthus in the back of the head on his way out as they roll in over the approaches as well. Small Seraphim barbecue on the way out. Nice defensive work here from Robogear, clinging on to that southerly portion down here. 22.5 minutes gone. Haven't mentioned mass in a while. We probably should, because Suzujl's broken a real lead now away from Robogear. 61 to 43. Pretty significant overall. 59k to 45. That really is quite sizable. Spam-heavy approach seems to have paid off in the end. It was looking a little bit dicey for the first, maybe not the first 15 minutes, but from minute 5 on to maybe minute 15, 16, maybe a little later for Suzujl. With getting some Ilshivas of his own on the ground, seems to be favouring mass T1. Has got the odd one in the centre, a little bit further back. That's a mark of the confidence Suzujl has. Rolls forward with his commander no less, and just picks up that mech's down there. Engineer was dispatched for Robogear to go and pick that up. He's going to go, no, that's mine. Reclaim me, rebuildy. There he goes. Not even going to bother rebuilding it. Robogear says, surprise! Turns up with his comm. Just launches a couple of bolts of energy at his opponent, which is now a 4-star commander, 5 kills away from breaking a sentry. Upgrade or 2 more there wouldn't go amiss. That could be a very deadly commander indeed. But look at this engage for Suzujl. That's gone very nicely indeed. Not that there's many gunships around to be worried about. There's one over here in the east and one over here slightly to the northwest of that. The interceptor's going to be brought in soon to deal with that. You would imagine so. You would hope so. Oh, engineer barbecue as they roll inadvisedly into the combat zone in the east. Many dead civilians just trying to do their job. There's no treaties over there about civilians and the infinite war. Especially not between warring alien factions. So both of our ACUs going for an upgrade at more or less the same sort of time. Nano repair 30% done there for Suzujl, and T2 60% done there for Robogear. Interesting. That's the more mobile, the more Robo-like, Robo-Rambo-like behavior upgrade for Suzujl. A more static upgrade for Robo, who then goes for the nano repair as well. So could have been mainly for hit points, maybe to shove down a point defense here and there, give himself a little bit of utility. But that got completed very quickly indeed. All other production likely shut down to favor that upgrade. So he's still going to have a sizable hit point and regen advantage, you would imagine, when both of these complete. He's actually going to finish his nano repair first as well. So it's 104 hit points a second with that extra 3 stars he's got versus 76 hit points a second on the regen from that. I'm only focusing on and mentioning because the comms are spending so much time in close proximity. You would imagine there's a bit more comm action brewing. Suzujl thinks, I've completed my upgrade, I can take you on now, and thinks, oh, actually you're quite chunky. I don't remember you looking quite like that. It's a bit scary. I'm going to roll backwards slightly and assist that PD that's presumably under construction in the back here. Yep, so T2 PD, that could do with an overcharge from Robogear. There it goes. No PD for you, he says, and then reworks his pathing to try and avoid most of that Zui fire. Could have done with an extra command in there, but didn't get it. Meanwhile, breaking through on the ground with lots of Ilshivas. Robogear in the east, tearing up some of this T1 spam. There is a couple of T2 units rolling in to reinforce from Suzujl a little bit further back, but not enough to hold that position. Looks like Robogear is going to make some gains over on that side of things, and he's now a 5-star commander. as these two go toe-to-toe. Robogear up in the 18,000 region. 13,000 meanwhile for Suzujl. Interceptors tangle over the top of these two commanders, and that's actually gone better for Robogear. Bombers trying to contend with the Ilshevers in the east. Interceptors, after winning their battle over the top of the main base, are redirected to defend. Those bombers aren't going to be returning to base anytime soon. Suzujl didn't like what he saw in that engagement. He's going to route himself to a spot for his own T2 upgrade now, but he's got a long way to go. Robogear could maybe, potentially with a bit of aggression, force a cancel here. That would be quite the coup. Meanwhile, over in the west, again, predominantly T1 spam from Suzujl, having problems breaking through against a solid T2 wall of Ilshevers down here. Not only that, Robogear's got a couple more Vulthus on the scene. Those gunships working on that newly produced factories from the sky. That gets taken out. Robogear actually, though, taking quite a bit of damage down into the yellow, but he's still got a decent 15,500 hit points. Barrier on that armor there. 13,000 meanwhile for Suzujl, so he looks healthier, but actually he's not. And a few of those Ilshevers that have done so well in the east seconded to the war in the center, and there goes the cancel. That's huge. A lot of resources would have been piled into that. They've now gone. Suzujl, though, not so worried. He's still got that mass advantage. It's 73 to 50, so not doing too badly. But there's a sense of a bit of a breakout happening here. These Ilshever bands, these armies, locking down areas with their mobility and their firepower, their rate of fire. Hitting back against now predominantly T1 armies, which are now looking a little bit obsolete. Sounded like a bit of, I don't know, fighter bomber action there for a moment, of course, or it sounded actually like Corsairs, but they wouldn't be in this, of course. Or exactly what that was. So what have we got here? We've got a change. He's got rid of his T2 engineering suite and says, no, I'm going full Rambo, and he's going for the gun splash damage upgrade. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Doesn't seem to be prioritizing it quite as hard. Still working on pumping out those Ilshevers. I think that's the right move. Needs as many of those assault bots on the ground as he can. It's working for him in the east. He could take back the west for it. Breaking out of the center is going to be just a little bit harder now. There is a T2 PD there and 4 land factories, one of which is at T2. It's all about cagey play. Neither player wanting to expose their upgraded bots to overcharge potential in their opponent's commander. Vulthu over in the west getting caught out by a quick hit and run from Suzujl. All those interceptors from Robogear lurking in the east. It's a nice bit of play. I like it. I like what I see. Robogear stacking up on the T2 P-Gens now. So he's struggling to stay afloat with power while he's on this upgrade, but it is 65% done and climbing. Look at that. Run away! That's Commander. "31 minutes gone. More bombers heading in over the center, straight towards that pack of interceptors from Robogear. They're not going to get much done. Looks like they were heading on towards the commander, maybe hoping to take out the assisting engineers surrounding it. They certainly would have done that had they got through, but alas, wasn't to be. See, factories temporarily paused there to give himself a bit of a boost. presumably either on the production of the T2 power plant to finish up the upgrade. Both now done though, so that is a seriously dangerous comm right there. Nano repair, fully 5-star, both gun upgrades. Filthy. Filthy stuff. Just as Suzujl shoos away those forces covering that entrance back into the main base. You see Robogear was withdrawing his comm to try and assist with that. It was just a feint. Suzujl backing up, so Robogear will return to his more centralized position. T2 point defense firing at its full range for effect. Decent intel covering all of the map over here now for Robogear. Plenty of radars up and running. And what was looking like a real breakthrough over in the east for Robogear has been bogged down by the emergence of these T2 PDs. Bit of a PD creep by the looks of things, the way they're staggered. Heading south. He stalled that to get a T1 online to help protect that most forward of his defenses. But no fear, he rolled straight on out with the commander, took down that point defense. There goes that factory. Ouch. Look at that. So much damage coming off the comm. They really are like small experimentals at this point when they're fully beefed up with upgrades and veterancy. Now Suzujl trying to get his own splash damage upgrade. Again, pretty close proximity to Robogears. If that's discovered, that could be problems. But he has transitioned to T3 land. We can see siege tanks on the ground now. So the game just took another interesting turn. There's now a 30 mass or so advantage for Suzujl. That really is significant. Would you look at that 30k extra for Suzujl, and yet actually Robogear looking pretty good. It's still a 1.5 to 0.6 kill loss ratio in favor of Robogear. He has been more effective, and remember, these are two very evenly matched players. 1983 versus 1909 on ladder ranking. That suggests very evenly matched indeed. Doesn't want to roll straight in up against that siege tank. I sympathize, trying to hit that with a couple of his own mobile missile launchers, trying to damage it at range before finishing it off. But look at this. So rather than coming in here and going after the commander, trying to interrupt yet another upgrade, he's allowing that to proceed, and instead he's moving on Suzujl's main base. He's got some backup over here. He's got just the one Ioshiva. He's very comfortably ahead on interceptors. He knows that already, so he doesn't need to afford himself too many, but he's got 3 Ilshivas to back him up, and then another 5 coming in from behind him as well. And now he arrives at the main base, and this could be a major turning point. Look at the damage coming off this bad boy as he struts into the center of Suzujl's base. He's stuck to the spot, 75% done on the upgrade, and all he can do is watch. He must not lose that T3 factory. Robogear has taken some damage though. He's down to below 12,000 hit points now. Can't afford to be blasé about this. There's a sniper bot back here taking pot shots at the comm. That would be partly responsible for inflicting the damage. There's also the Rothing Otham up here with so much potential damage. He had to give that a wide berth. He's lost virtually all of these Ilshivas now. Has taken care of the siege tank. Is he going to come back in at the main base? No, he's not. That's too aggressive even for him, but perhaps he can drift to the east and gain some more over here. The splash upgrade did complete just as he decided to engage over here with some of his Zuis and Ilshivas. Engineers paying a heavy price for hanging around But Suzujl won't be worried about that. He'll just be happy to be more or less matching Robogear's comm on firepower now. And he starts his maneuvers with the comm, presumably to re-enter the fray towards the center. 14,000 hit points and climbing on board that commander now for Robogear. And that little installation over in the east, well defended from the likes of the Ilshivers and whatnot with the point defense. Don't like his chances standing up against that comm right now. Not without Otham's support. We do have sniper bots pursuing Robogear. Who's now ticked over into the green. You can really see the difference that nano repair upgrade makes. Absolutely enormous. And now Suzujl's thinking it's time to turn this game around. He's moving forward with his comm. Very, very ill defended, if I might add. He's got absolutely zero support. I guess he feels the only thing that can really threaten him at the moment is the comm, and that's on the other side of his spam. The way's up here, but in comes a T2 transport. Airlifts the commander. Are there any interceptors that can shoot that down for Suzujl? No, there aren't. It flies over here to safety, and if he's quick, he can drop it down here and take on Suzujl on friendly territory and bring in reinforcements to boot. He's now upgraded to T3. He's got Othams entering the battle. This could be a huge mistake for Suzujl being this aggressive. He's actually behind now on mass, only by one. But things definitely seem to have taken a turn for the worse, which is why he feels compelled to cause some problems now, which he's going to do. In he comes, takes out the T2 air factory. He's taking a bit of T2 point defense fire now, and in come the siege tanks as well. He needs to get some overcharges in on those and take those out of the fight ASAP. But the comm of Robogear's being airlifted into the danger zone. It's going to drop off just outside of Suzujl's range to make sure there's no mess-ups there on landing. We've all seen what that can do and prematurely end games very badly indeed. But this looks like a phenomenal win now for Robogear, who turns up with that absolutely devastating commander and just snags Suzujl, who made a horrible error by moving on the base there unsupported. But I just think he got bullied into it. The aggression on his base from Robogear, and then having lost the western approaches, just to in the end, it was a couple of Ilshivers that moved up here and cleared out what was left, but he seemed thin on the ground after that upgrade to T3. But look at that. I mean, admittedly, Robogear came back at him, I'm assuming from reclaim, because it certainly wasn't being done in terms of generated eco, but still, that's what? It's a 29k advantage over the course of the game. That's huge. And it really does show in the kill-loss ratio for Robogear. That is a comprehensive win for him. Very well done. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. There's always more to come from me in the future. I want some more 1v1s. I'm still going to carry on giving you guys all of the team action that I know you love so much. But guys, if you've got more classic 1v1s, some interesting base trades, whatever it might be, dropping comms right in the back in the early game, all that sort of exciting action, bring it my way. And any tournament directors getting on the scene anytime soon with any plans to bring new tournaments into the fold, get in touch. The only guy who seems to keep in contact with me on that front anymore is Rowie. Thank you to him for when he does host and brings replays my way. But if you want to get your tournaments, shout outs or castings, whatever, just hit me up with a message at any of the usual places, guys. You know what to do. We've been around on this merry-go-round many times before. Well, anyway, as I said, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. More to come from me in the future. Don't forget, if you feel so inclined, guys, support me on Patreon. Details on this, on how to do that, below this and each and every one of my videos. Thank you to each and every one of you who's supported so far, and to those planning to do so in the future. Your support means the world. Until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.